Hey everybody, it is day 4 of Live a Day in the month of May. And you know what today it is? It's May the 4th. So Yoda best. Okay? So just letting you know. So as I told you last night, I was going to be making a couple of different appetizers. So one of the appetizers that I'm going to make, I actually learned in junior high school in my home economics class. And what it is mini pizzas. So I've got a cooking sheet over here, and just for my life to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to cover it with parchment because it just makes my life so much easier. I'm preheating my oven to 400 degrees. It hasn't gotten there yet, but we will get there soon enough. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a can of biscuit dough. This is good old H-E-B. Texas style, and you know what this is. This is the adult equivalent of a Jack in the Box, because you never know if they're gonna pop. I'm afraid. I'm very afraid. Okay, well that one didn't pop. So the other way, you just hit it on the counter. Ah! So there you go. So it opened up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to lay the individual biscuits out on our parchment paper. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to spread them out just a little bit and make them just a tiny bit flatter. And this will help with the cooking. And if you can, give yourself a little edge. You see how I'm making a little edge there? So that helps hold the toppings in place on our little mini pizzas. So you just repeat that until you have all of them flattened out and yummy. There's a lot of fat in these biscuits, I can tell, because it's like all getting all over my hands. So, this is actually part 1 of 2 videos, or actually 3 videos that I'm going to share with you today, because I discovered in my previous videos that my books are showing up backwards. And even though I have my phone set for you to be able to see the words and the writings on my cookbooks, for some reason it doesn't work that way on the lives. So there, that's not very fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the cooking process in this video, and then I'm going to move over to a second video that's going to show you the cookbooks that I got these recipes out of, and then we're going to have a third video where I'm going to show you everything coming out of the oven. Okay, so we've got those all pressed out. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our pizza sauce. So I'm going to start out with just a little bowl, and I'm going to put some tomato sauce in it. Now the original recipe actually calls for tomato paste, but I hate working with tomato paste, so I'm perfectly content with just being 100% pizza sauce. So the next thing that we're going to put in here is Italian seasoning. And whenever you do Italian seasoning or any kind of dried herb, it's always a good idea to just kind of smush it in your hand, and that kind of releases the aromas and flavors and makes it a little bit more yummy. So now that I've got flying stuff all over the place. So the next thing I like to do is add a little salt and pepper, because that just ups the flavor a little bit. And you can add garlic or whatever makes you happy, whatever you like to normally put in your pizza sauce. You can even use canned pizza sauce, you know, or like spaghetti sauce or something like that. So we're going to stir that all up, and we're going to make it extra nice. And that's going to be nice and tasty. And we're going to let that set for just a little bit so that those flavors can meld up. So while that's setting, we're going to grate some cheese. So I've got some Parmesan. I got this from Imperfect Foods, and we are going to cut off a bit. And Mr. Hand, if you could so nicely hand me my grater, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Hand. So Mr. Hand is helping me out tonight, which is really great. We love it when Mr. Hand helps. So we're just going to grate our cheese so that we have some cheese. I also have some pre-grated mozzarella cheese that's also going to go on this. And I'm wanting some garlic. So I'm going to get my garlic salt out and get these all rocking and rolling. So that's enough of that. So let me get the garlic salt to throw in there. Now this is Trader Joe's garlic salt, and it's in a grinder, and I like it because it's nice big chunky chunks of stuff. Now, even though we did put a little bit of salt in there, we're just going to add a little bit more with this, but we didn't put a lot of salt in there, so that'll be okay. So we're going to get that, and we're going to have that one resting for a little bit. Now the second appetizer that we're going to be making is something that was originally called rumaki, and it was made with chicken livers, which is kind of gross. So there's a less gross version of it, which is made with water chestnuts. So I have a can of whole water chestnuts here. And they're drained, and I'm going to dump them in there. Now, what I like to put on this is a little bit of everything and the kitchen sink. So I like a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. And if you don't know anything about W sauce, because nobody can say Worcestershire sauce, but if you want to know a little something about it, so these dudes named Lee and Perrin went to India, and they tried this fermented sauce, and they just thought it was the best thing since buttered toast, and they decided to try and make it when they got back to the UK. Well, what they put together turned out really super gross, and nobody liked it. And so they forgot about it, and then when they opened it up a little while later, they thought it was the best thing ever, and so they patented the manufacturing process, and to this day we have W sauce. So just a little bit of that, not a whole lot, just a couple of squirty squirts. And then we're going to add some soy sauce, just basic soy. I like that. Now, since water chestnuts really have no flavor, we're going to put some things in there that's going to give it some flavor. So we've got some sesame oil. We're going to just do a little gloopy on that. And then we're also going to do some sesame chili oil, which is also going to give it a little bit of a kick. So we're going to go put that on there. And then we're going to give it a kick even more, and we're going to give it a little bit of, what's this? We know, cock sauce. Good old sriracha. So we're going to throw a little bit of that on there. And then to sweeten it so that we have kind of a sweet and sour thing, we're going to put some honey on there as well. So we're going to gloopy a little honey in there. And I think I need a little more soy sauce. You think I need a little more soy sauce? What do you think, Mr. Hand? Do I need more soy sauce? No? Are you sure? Okay. So thank you, Mr. Hand. We're going to do a little more soy sauce. And the last ingredient that we're going to use is a little bit of hoisin sauce. I like hoisin sauce. It adds a little sweet and sour, and it also is kind of thick, so it sticks to the water chestnuts a little bit better than anything else. And so once we got that all together, it's really good to let it sit and marinate for about, the longer the better, because these puppies just absorb all that flavor and all that good yumminess. And so, half hour, 45 minutes. So, or as long as you can stand, or just make them right before your guests show up, because it's not that difficult. So we got that. And I have a bowl over here of some that I've had sitting for about a half an hour in the marinade. So we'll be making these up in just a second as well. All right. So we've got our toppings for our pizza. We've got some mushrooms, and we've got some bell peppers, a little bit of onion, and we've got our 2 cheeses. And we also have some pepperoni, and we've got some bacon bits. So here we've got just good old pepperoni. So let me get our baking sheet and we'll start putting together some pizzas. So here we've got our baking sheet. Yeah, gotta make some room. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pizza sauce that we made and that's been sitting for just a little bit, and we're gonna gloopy a little bit onto our little mini pizzas. So, and that is an official word, gloopy. So we're gonna gloop, 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 gloop. So, Mr. Hand, let me see the phone for just a second. Anybody saying hi? Cool. All right, I got watchers. Thank you, Mr. Hand. So we're gonna just continue to gloop, and we're just gonna gloop, gloop, gloop. Make this super yummy. Yum, yum, yum. And then what's nice about this extra pizza sauce is you can actually use it for dipping a little bit later if you like. So we're gonna put a piece of mushroom on each one. The more veggies, the better. I like my veggies. Veggies are good for you. Even though this is really a very minuscule amount of veggies, it's still pretty super yummy. So we got veggies, veggies, veggies. We got veggies. A little bit of mushrooms, a little bit of mushrooms. Then we're gonna add just a tiny bit. Oh, my oven has reached temperature, so that's all good. So we've got our little bit of bell pepper. A little bit of bell pepper. Yum, yum, yum. Now you can put olives on this. You can put any topping that you like. I'm going to put a couple of little tiny bits of onion. Not everybody loves onions, so I'm going to keep it on the light side, but I love onions. So, and then we're going to put just our first little layer of cheese. A little bit of cheese, a little bit of Parmesan, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of cheese. And the reason that I put a little bit of cheese first is it helps my meat to stick. So now we're going to go into pepperoni land, and you can do 2 slices of pizza, 2 slices or 1 slice of pepperoni per pizza. It's totally up to you, whatever you like. I'm going to do 2. So we've got 2. We've got 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I knocked over my guys. Stay. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. All right. So now we're going to use the rest of our cheese. Put a little bit more cheese on each little mini pizzas. Now you can make individual cauliflower crusts with, you know, cheese and chopped up cauliflower and make yourself a keto version of this. It doesn't really matter. You know, I just like a ton of cheese. So I'm just going to put a ton of cheese on top of each of these little mini pizzas. Ooh, Mr. Hand wants a snack. Oh no. No, Mr. Hand, no. All right, so, no, Mr. Hand. Okay. Mr. Hand's having fun. All right, so we've got all of our pizzas covered in cheese, and we've got our gloopy messes going, and these are going to be incredibly delish. Now, you can put a little bit of an Italian seasoning on top just to kind of give it a little bougie, bouginess, I guess you can call it. So, and originally I was going to put bacon on it, but, you know. So, anyway, so these puppies are going to go in the oven. Thank you, Mr. Hand. And as you can see, I got a pizza stone in there, but I'm not going to use the pizza stone tonight. So, those puppies are going, and they're good for about 10 minutes, so we're going to clear, set our timer for 10 minutes, and start. Now, we're going to get to the other appetizer, which is the these guys. So, the first thing that we need to do is clean up our cutting board. to save that for later because I can use it for some fun stuff. And I'm going to wash my hands really quick because I've kind of got cheese all over me. So. Oh, and Mr. Hand needs to be washed too. You need some soap, Mr. Hand? There. Okay. We good? All right. Good? Good. All right. So, now we're going to put together the rumaki, or the water chestnuts, however you want to call them. Now, I've got some thick sliced bacon, and I've cut the pound of bacon in half, and I'm going to use a half a slice per chestnut. So you just go like that. You just wrap them up. Boom. Now, if you don't want to do the soy sauce deal, you can just coat them with anything you've got. If you just got barbecue sauce in the house, you can just use barbecue sauce. If you've got some leftover salad dressing, you can do the leftover salad dressing. It doesn't really matter. You can just use anything to make these. And, you know, you can poke a toothpick through them. You can marinate them in fruit juices. You can marinate them in a little bit of tequila if you like. There's just no, you can do whatever you want. Because remember, what's the number one rule? Everything's better with bacon. Heck yeah, everything's better with bacon. What do you think, Mr. Hand? Yeah, Mr. Hand. He knows what's good. So, anywho, I keep wrapping these guys up. And we will see you again in about 15 minutes after all this stuff is cooked. Okay? So, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, bye for now.